時をかける希望恐竜戦隊ジュレンジャー
Welcome to Chojin Chumps, everybody. I'm one of your hosts, John. I'm here with my brother Jay.
You can be the host today.
So off mic, my brother was telling me he's going to be exhausted. So we're gonna keep it mellow today.
It's tough being an essential worker running off of 1 hour of sleep.
My dude. Besides just that, you've been busting ass on like exams and like every time you're talking to me, you say you have something to do, and I'm like, you fucking liar. Whatever. I don't need to talk to you either. We don't have a podcast or anything. Shit.
Hey, in all fairness, I'm the low energy might also be because I started Yakuza 0 yesterday, and Lord knows that just takes so much hype just to follow along in it.
I watched the karaoke segment you sent me, and that was more intense than it should have been for a fucking mini game.
Dude, that was a non-optional mini game. Like literally, they crammed that into the story. That's like after my first fight, that was like the first thing I did. But either way, this isn't the Yakuza podcast yet.
They can enjoy our fucking discussions. You know what? You aren't coming here for quality. You're coming here for chumps, I assume, because you're each and every one of y'all related to us somehow.
Or you fell for the clickbait thumbnail with the scantily dressed Pink Ranger, which I'm sure we can set up.
I don't know if she's alive.
Okay, moving on.
I feel like that's the shitty thing about watching older media. It's like, who's alive, who's not. But today we're going to try to do something we haven't yet got to do. We're going to cover 3 episodes in an hour. And you know what? Maybe not even an hour. Fuck it. We'll go long because I'm excited about these episodes.
And you know, some behind the scenes for you audience members, the plan was always to do 3 episode chunks. What throws off that plan is a series of 2-parters that take up the span of that.
Yeah. Remember, we talked about it, and the 2-parters thus far have covered at least 6 episodes out of the 13 we've watched. Something like that.
So almost half, yeah.
Yeah, because you've had 3 2-parters so far. 4 maybe. Because you had the opening, then you had the weapons, you had the stupid chicken. Am I missing one? You're missing Riddle, the Sphinx.
Was Sphinx a 2-parter?
Yeah, because they got
So yeah, most of this whole, pretty much more than half of the first 13 episodes have been 2-parters.
Yeah, so we're finally in, and I can say this officially because all 3 of them are Monster of the Day. And I'm excited because Monster of the Day is where you get to see the cheesy shit, the funny shit, and what builds character. And I'll get to this later, we didn't see a lot of character building, these were genuinely enjoyable. What do you think?
You know, trading off of character building, because you're right, we didn't get character building. In an odd way, we got world building, which I'll go into as we dive into it. But no, man, look, that's the point of like filler arcs. That's the point of like throwaway or these Monster of the Day episodes, because if everything's so plot focused, it just can wear you down. So yeah, I love these Monster of the Day episodes. These specific ones were just a lot of fun. Like, they were goofy on a number of different levels. So I can't wait to just get into this.
So let's jump in. Episode 11, My Master. And it begins with the creation of the DreamWorks logo. Topad is on the moon, and he tosses down a fishing rod. And then How You Train Your Dragon begins, or something. I don't know. I don't watch the fucking episodes. Bye. No, in all seriousness, he throws down he casts his rod, and Toadpat is fishing for the moon, and the hook he's using specifically hooks treasure, which I thought was kind of neat. And so what they catch but a lamp. So the genie appears. He's a lamp fairy named Jin, and
Yeah, pretty basic, but I'm not gonna fight them on it.
I genuinely like his design. Like he has a dog head, like almost a jackal head, and a human body, and yet it's very Arabian Nights-esque, Aladdin style. He's wearing a little vest. He's probably orphaned at 33. Colorful outfit. His hat had a weird feather in it, and I thought that was an odd addition to something that wasn't from that area. But
it was just interesting for me because you didn't really watch Mystic Force, right?
no,
Well, in Mystic Force, there was a genie character just as a key member of the group. So that's why I was just like, oh, hey, cool, genie, because I just knew how many doors this opened. And I gotta say, whenever I see a genie, a part of me kind of
Mrs. Robin
flinches away.
Williams.
Yeah, no. A part of me kind of flinches away just because it is so easy, especially in throwaway episodes, for them to go with the most standard use of a genie. You know what I mean? It is one of the most well-known bastardized supernatural monsters in so many shows. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah, it gives you the wish, but it always tricks you. And so I was so worried that it was just going to be the formula, and even worse from the 90s series, so it's even more generic. Rinse, wash, and repeat. But no, I was pleasantly surprised with how this went.
Yeah, I definitely agree, because so you see right from the bat that it wasn't going to be like that, because the next scene, literally you see the Rangers there. Well, no, actually you see it, the camera zoom in on a paper that, well, we can't read it because we don't speak Japanese, but it says letter of challenge, and it has like a bat monkey thing on it, and it zooms out to show the Rangers on this cliff. Geki is holding it, and he's like, Topat, you challenging us? And
Like generally confused because it's like you.
yeah, and so off in the distance there's Topat, Bookback, and the genie, right? Was the genie standing with them? Or no?
Not yet, because they summon him, but they're just like
Yeah.
they call him and they're like, "Yeah, we challenge you because today we're gonna defeat you." And the Rangers are like, "Okay, well, let's get this over with." And already they're like, "Quick, quick, rub the lamp," because they know what's coming.
Yeah. So they rub the lamp and wish to defeat the Zyurangers, and it goes straight into the fight. It's really cool. They transform. Uh, what's his name?
Jin.
Jin. There we go. I don't know, like the alcohol. Okay. I don't know why like it went out of my head for a second.
Or like a genie, but
I have a problem. So Jin, he has this rod that he shoots these weird rods out of and webs at them. It's odd, but he's dominating. He's following his order. And there's a scene I really liked. So they come at him and he flips them, but then they reverse the footage too, so it looks like he's magically
flipping them just around in midair.
Yeah. And I'm like, is it clever? No. Is it fun to watch? Yeah. So really this whole battle just shows that they can't beat him, because he's getting blasted and he deflects it. It hits, and that's where it gets important, because he deflects the blast and it hits Bookback, who drops the fucking lamp. The genie vanishes and the Rangers are actually saved because he would have won. And then probably what saved this episode. The genie was found by a group of kids. It goes to Barza, and Barza's like, Jin is the most like powerful sorcerer in the world, and he's good or bad based on who has the lamp. So they have to get that lamp before Bandora does, because if Bandora gets it, she'll be unstoppable. And there, you have some major stakes, but it can all be resolved in one episode. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's definitely nothing that is so basic and straightforward that it gave them the option if they want to make this something bigger. But again, not everything can be twisted into being such a bigger issue. And so the fact that they just were like, no, hey, we're just gonna keep it a one-parter, open and shut book, just real open and shut. Why not? And yeah, you know what I mean.
Real quick,
That works for me.
Real quick aside before I'm gonna let you talk about it. But Barza, when he's telling him this, is in his sage outfit. He is literally only ever in his sage outfit when he's doing sage activities. And it's like, you do that for maybe 5 minutes out of the day. Why do you even bother changing? You know?
I honestly feel like he probably gets more stuff done as being the building caretaker.
Though, to be fair, we got to see him do some stuff this time. And act more sagey. Like this was sage things. And I fully support it. I want to see him do more than just, give a generic hint and hide behind a tree.
Honestly, my biggest problem is he's supposed to be like the well of information, but they also have a book with all the information they need too.
Yeah.
And so at a point, he's just a glossary.
Yeah.
He kind of tells them what page to look at so they can kind of look at the pictures.
If Star versus the Forces of Evil have proven anything, is that glossaries can be both interesting and useful. This is not one of them.
Oh no. This is the one that like someone doodled on it, tried to erase it, ended up actually smudging some of the page itself, and then you can't even see what. Either way, dude, you got always be careful where you rent textbooks from, kids. They're expensive and not worth it.
So,
but
yeah, go lead us.
So, yeah, he basically tells them, and it's a very simplistic way. What would the alignment be if it's just neutral, lawful neutral, where I just follow the commands of the lamp? Doesn't matter good or bad. I just do the commands of the lamp.
If you're bound to follow whatever you're told, I don't think you fall into the alignment category. But he seems lawful neutral because he does seem to want to do good and want to.
He has a personality, which is good. But either way, so they set the stakes, and then it goes to the kids who, the two kids who found it. Now they brought their friends. They all go to a warehouse, which kids probably shouldn't be hanging in.
My dude, if there's anything I've learned, it's that apparently people didn't parent until like our parents began it in like the early 90s.
Not our parents. Our father was terrible.
Yeah, but we had a mom, technically. But yeah, it's like no parenting, no parenting, no parenting. Bam. 80s hits and the adults there are like, I'll have kids, and then they decide they kind of want to start parenting. And then after that, they give us shit because we're like, hey, maybe you shouldn't let your kid like eat sand and like go off with strangers randomly.
I still like that you'll see the post of I drank from the water hose and turned out fine. And then I just have to say, well, you also refuse to wear a mask in public, so I'm not sure about that. Either way, we're not here for this. The kids are just there and like no big surprise, they rub the lamp, out comes a genie, and they have wishes. They're kids. I'm gonna say this, like, because so many children's shows will like exaggerate what children are. So it's like, here's a bratty child, but he's bratty to such a degree he's unbearable. Or this child is so well behaved, he's basically an adult. These were just kids, and it worked because their wishes followed what a kid would wish. One's like, I want a sports car, which he doesn't even drive it.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
literally
yeah.
goes vroom vroom. One dude, I like because they wish for the car. Everyone goes around and is like, oh, that's cool. They all bum rush the Jin, and they're like, I wish for this, I wish. And the one who's actually holds the lamp is like, I wish I could fly. So he makes the magic carpet. She gets on it. She literally just turns to them, which was very creepy. I thought something ominous was gonna happen because she just turns to them while she's on the carpet. Is like, bye bye, and just flies out the warehouse.
Yeah, yeah. I too thought that bye bye was a little too slow.
That was just like really weird. But she's flying through the sky. They do one of those old school. Um, Here's the video in the back of the city of the landscape while she's floating through, and she's just going around. That's where the Rangers actually spot them because, a little girl on a carpet. They're like, oh yeah, that screams genie. And so they chase after it, and when it pans back to the warehouse, you see all the kids got their wishes. One's just dining on all the food he wants. One of the little girls just prancing around in her dress. You know what I mean? The kids in the car pretending to drive. Jin's playing video games with a little girl, and finally he's like, disco time. They all start dancing.
I loved it. He not only that, he's like such a positive adult in that they're playing video games. He loses. He's like, man, you're so good. Then he's like, what's that? Disco time. And they all stop what they're doing. A disco ball drops and they're just dancing. And it's fucking ridiculous. But I mean, as someone who has actively worked with children, I can tell you it works. Try disco time next time you have to babysit. They'll love it.
After they ask, what's disco?
Yeah, yeah.
That's when everything kind of starts crashing together. But no, it's genuinely like, this is how kids would be. Because there's so many times where it's like, oh, here's a simple enough concept, but you throw it again to a kid that's written to like a weird degree. So it's like, oh, this kid's mad at his mom, so you wished all the parents in the world away or something like that. No, this is just basic. I want more. I want food. So he's eating.
So
It's
what you're
nice.
saying is it's kids who are being allowed to be kids as opposed to here's a dramatization of children's issues.
Yeah,
There we go.
because it wasn't that. It was just literally borderline. I mean, friend of the children. But either way, so the little girl who was flying the magic carpet comes back. She goes join them, and uh that's when another kid comes up and is like, adults are coming, quick, we gotta hide them. So they send Jin back into the lamp, and here comes the Rangers. They come in, and it's just very simple. Like, they look around, it's like, whoa, look at all this stuff. Of course they have the genie. They go up to the children. Hey, did y'all find a magic lamp? No. Well, you should give it to us, or else bad guys are gonna come get y'all. I'm very childlike. It's just, oh, you're just lying because you want the lamp.
But to be fair, I wouldn't trust it either. And I think this next scene is pretty funny because you're right. They're like, you're lying because you want it. But they literally turn around and say, Jin's our friend. If they take the lamp, they'll take him away. And then they just start running. But at that exact moment, Toadpat and Bookback comes. And so it's like the Rangers are trying to fight them off while the kids are running. It's mayhem. And suddenly fucking Putties and Gryffindor shows up, so you know it gets intense. It's not like it's just Tweedledee
Dude,
and Tweedlestupid.
whenever I see Gryffindor on a children's based episode, I'm just so ready for him to eat a child. Like, because his character has always never been a joke. I'm just ready for it. I expect him to just maul into someone one of these days. It's the Tigers for like who's those Vegas performers? You know who I'm talking about?
Siegfried and Roy.
Yeah, Siegfried and Roy. Like, yeah, you always see them with the tiger, but you still know it's a tiger, and you're still expecting it to bite someone.
I think one of them are dead, and I think one of the tigers are also dead.
Well, yeah.
The more you know. Speaking of dead, one of the kids trips and falls as he's running away. And Bookback and Topat are like coming at him. And so they rub the lamp for and ask Jin to help, and he fucking punches him in the face. He just pops out, fist forward, and then to make it even better, because I don't know what he would have done if it wasn't kids or if that's just his personality. He transforms them into balloons, and he's like, and lets the balloons go. And I'm just like, bye bye.
It's effective.
Yeah. But that's when shit hits the fan. Because Bandora appears. And not only does Jin know her, but she straight up starts fucking shit up. I'm talking lightning, the Rangers, and it was just beautiful. And
Yeah, like I that's something I always constantly love, that Bandora is treated like a threat. Like her and Griforzors, like when they show up, shit gets handled to a degree.
oh yeah,
It's not just a wasted appearance. I live for that.
and she gives Jin a choice. She's like, "Come join me," and he's like, "Fuck you, I obey the lamp." And so her response is, "Oh, okay," and she destroys the lamp. So he loses his power because he doesn't have a lamp. And then Pandora's like, "Now you'll have to be my servant because she's going to make a new lamp, and Jin will have to obey." So then she disappears to go do it, and it becomes a montage scene. No, not quite yet. The
Just
only
about,
yeah,
because
the only
it's the
option.
kid.
Go on.
No, yeah, it's just the kids and the Rangers, and they're like, with Jin already kind of losing his strength, and he tells them like, yeah, once she makes a lamp, I'm not gonna have a choice because I have to be in a lamp. So once she makes it, that's just it. But the children, and that's why I liked it was the children who brought this up. They're like, we'll fix the lamp, because the Rangers flat out say, it's like, well, that's not really possible. It got blown to pieces. It's flying everywhere. They're like, yeah, but if it means we're gonna lose Jin, we'll do it. And that kind of like inspires the Rangers, where it's like, you know what? Yeah, we gotta go for it. And then enters a montage where each Ranger has a child. They're just poking through Japan.
For the record, Geki mentions one of their names. I'm like, you fuckers. You have not at all really introduced any of these children. They have been generic Japanese child A through like D. But that's fine. You can know their name. But it's an upbeat montage and it's cute for the like 5 seconds it lasts, because then Bandora appears with an evil teapot as a lamp. And the moment she does, she points to that Jin, and sure enough, he goes in. And I love this part. She's like, my new Dora monster is gonna fuck your shit, and summons him. And he is Dora Jin. He is huge. His jackal face is now feral, filled with teeth. The design is similar, but like they changed
accent
it.
the red more.
Yeah, they changed it enough to clearly show he's evil, and yet you recognize the character you once loved in it. And literally, her command is for Dorjin to trample them. And so Geki summons the beast. And it becomes a fight. What did you think about like the fight and the design?
Like you said, because I think you nailed it perfectly. Because the problem when a lot of people do like the whole now he's evil, they either not do enough to show a change, because like when they made the Rangers, he got corrupted by the sword. They literally put some dark face makeup on and like bags around their
Bangs.
eyes, and it's like, oh, he's evil. So they either not do it enough or they do it too much, where it's just like that's a different character. This was that perfect balance of like, no, it's him, but the perfect way to describe it is your dog. Your dog looks cute when it's calm, or your pet in general. It looks cute when it's calm, but once it buries its fangs at someone else, you're just like, hey, come on, killer, be cool. But I liked it, and I liked how it was just because once they go into the Zord, the Geki already says from the get go, he's just like, look, we don't want to destroy him though, because he's still the friend of the children, and even they know he's a good person. So it's just like, okay, well, our only hope is maybe we can still complete the lamp, and now let him switch sides again.
Yeah, and he mentions that he's like, I don't want to use Godhorn because we love the kids, and he loves the kids, and he's as a result he sends May, Dan, and Boy off to search for the last piece, and then they get their shit wrecked
Oh yeah.
as they're fighting, because it's just Goshi and Geki fighting. Dora Jin is fucking them up. He's using his rod to stab. He's blasting them. It's really cool. He downs them, and then fucking Bandora, who has no chill, just yells, "Drill a hole in that Muppet's head," and then you get a POV shot of the spear coming down over the Daijujin's face, and the tip starts spinning like a drill. And I'm like, that's gonna be so gruesome. You know what I mean?
It's the when you I always say it, for that more mature Power Rangers, if you ever really want it, because Nickelodeon and Saban, none of them are gonna give it to you. Read the comics, because you see some dark things in Ranger comics, and that's honestly what I felt like when it's like drill through their skull, and they're just barely like
Hanging
shifting
off.
their head to the side, barely dodging it. It's like, oof, that is a gnarly way to go. And it's further scary because you know Jin is powerful enough to do it.
Oh yeah.
You know, in no way, shape, or form do you doubt that this creature could not
That's the
do
interesting
this.
thing, because with Monster of the Day episodes, you inherently know that they're not going to overturn the Rangers. They're not going to be that huge of a threat. And yet, if they can succeed in making you feel like it's possible for the Rangers to lose to them, they have accomplished their goal as monsters. And I feel like Dora Jin has definitely done that. But of course, he can't be defeated like that. He can't be defeated by them, so they find the extra piece, get it, and they summon him back to his lamp. And before Bandora can do anything, May comes in clutch with the energy shot and breaks her lamp. So of course, Bandora is pissed. She gets her headache and she takes off. They're rubbing the lamp and Jin won't come out. And it looks like it's going to be a sad ending, one of those, he used up his energy or whatever. But then they had to pull the old switcheroo, because then he answers them from the top of a fucking tree, like
Because
a badass.
yeah, you gotta be chill about it. Oh, you thought I died and perished for good and gonna leave the children sad? Nah, man, just chilling in a tree.
Yeah, and so the kids hug him, and ultimately, it's decided that Jin needs to go back to the ocean because we can't risk letting evil people get a hold of him, as if the ocean is going to protect him. And I'm like, is this a fucking pattern? Are they just going to toss all their problems into the ocean? It truly was the 90s. Let's just dump waste in there. It will be fine.
Well, in all honesty, when this episode started and he's fishing in the ocean, I honestly thought they were gonna pull out the dinosaur eggs. And I was just like, huh.
See, I already forgot about it because I hated that episode so much.
But yeah, it's just, and in a lot of ways it makes sense, I guess, because Lord knows if you lose something in the ocean, you're not expecting it to return. But they take a little extra precaution where they put their own little seal on the lamp.
Do not open till Xmas 2030.
Dude, but my favorite part was they throw it into the ocean. You get this little effect of it, but then the ending scene is just Jin in that you just see Jin in the air, his figure like Mufasa style, as all the kids are just standing on the beach with the Rangers, and I'm just like, this is so cheesy.
Dude, I was just surprised that they truly yeeted that shit. I thought they were gonna like let it drift out to sea or something. No, they throw it and it just yeet. Anyway, so hold on, let me ask you this: do you want to go over all the monsters at the end, or do you want to put them in?
Let's do it at the end because I feel like
we can compare them.
Yeah, it'll let us kind of. It makes it easier to like explain our decisions when we could say, yeah, this one deserves to be here because this one deserves to be here.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. So let me ask you: did you like this cheesy ass episode? In fact, here, let me ask you a broader question: do you like cheesy ass things in general?
My brother, I love horribly cheesy things. I'm someone who has no problem watching a bad 80s kung fu movie because of how bad it is.
So
I have no problem with the cheese.
So did this next episode fulfill everything you would want from it?
Episode 12?
Papa's a vampire.
This one honestly was so mind-boggling for me because I kind of remembered the Power Ranger episode. And so I'm like, even the Power Ranger episode was kind of weird and trippy with how they handled it. I would not have ever put this plot together for this series, for any Sentai series. It was so bizarrely enjoyable.
I loved it. It was cheesy as fuck. And once again, you see that the main motivators of this is Toadpat.
Dude, he made this episode. He's what made this episode the most enjoyable because he was basically freaking swipe or no swiping the entire episode.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and just get into this.
All right, because go on.
So it starts off with you're in this kind of like gardeny area, this walkway. It's like a park. You're seeing the bushes, and you just see these two flowers sticking out, and all of a sudden, slowly rises Toadpat, and these flowers are just part of his camouflage that he has on his head.
Mind you, the camouflage he has is literally only the flowers.
Only two flowers, not even like a set of flowers, just those two. And he rises up, and we're in episode 12, so it's nice for him to finally say, I have vampire blood in me. and I've never actually drank blood, and I want to.
Hey, every character should have goals. And Toadpat, he had some, so that's good on him. Good writing.
Yeah, but it's also depressing when you think he was sealed with Bandora 170 million years ago, which means his existence has been throughout who knows how long, and even to this day, he has not drank human blood, and he's part vampire. But Yeah, so he and realize he's not saying this to anyone but the audience.
Yeah,
He's just talking
directly
to himself.
looking into the camera.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm a vampire and I've never drank blood and I really want to. And today's the day. And he sees this young woman. And he's like, "You're the one." And he just slowly starts sneaking behind her. And he's getting ready to grab her. She drops the tire shoes when he grabs, and he's like, "Well." She looks up, sees him. He looks confused. Looks down at her. She screams and runs. And the one who hears her cries is not a ranger, have always magically been at the right place at the right time. No, it's a little girl with a bat who's ready to use it.
It's a
A
secret
freaking
tool
wooden.
that will come in handy later.
But she goes. She's like, "What monster? Finally, a new case!" Runs to where the screams were. Is just already kind of practicing her swing about her, and it's just like, "Where is he? Where is he?" And realize, and I feel like this is a very natural reaction. It was just Tut Pat seeing anyone charge at you with a bat, decides to hide in the bushes.
My dude, there's no hesitation. There's no qualms if she should or shouldn't be doing this. She's going to use that bat if she gets a chance. That is the feeling you get from this little child. And she's calling out to him this whole time. He's like, "Where are you, coward? Come out." So she can beat his ass. And as he is hiding, she steps on his foot. And Toad Pat's smart. He doesn't make a sound. You see him like freaking out. You see like tears welling up in his eyes. But
Biting his tongue.
yeah, but he knows if he steps out, he will get his ass beaten. And so she leaves. He comes out bitter and angry and vows vengeance on this little child. She's like, what? Like maybe 8? And he's like, "I'm gonna suck her blood."
You dare get in my way, which realized he had already screwed up himself, but you dare ruin my meal, and you're gonna be my feast.
But beating monster ass is enough, because Don is like walking around being Don, and he comes upon her fucking chasing a policeman with the bat because he says he hasn't seen the monster. Now apparently it's her dad, and Don is like, "What's going on?" So they explain. Well, she explains that, you know, she heard about a monster and was looking for it, and her dad's like, "She exaggerates. Don't listen." But I love the fact he uses her talking to Don to escape. He's like, "Okay, bye." So that way he doesn't get his ass beat by a bat.
Yeah, that's the next person's problem. Not the fathers, the victims.
Yeah. And so turns out her goal is simple. She wants her dad to be promoted, and so he needs to solve a case to do that. Dan, of course, believes her because, monsters are fucking real. I don't know
And
when.
have been fairly frequent as of, episode 1.
That's the weird thing
So
to
why
me.
not?
In Jetman, when it seemed a lot less like obvious, you had people who accepted it much quicker than here, where you're seeing a lot more of them.
Well, in all fairness, though, they make it a point that they focus so much more on the children in this.
That's true.
And so, yeah, if your child comes up to you and tells you, like, "Daddy, Daddy, there's a weird creature in the garden," and you're just trying to get through your shift, and you're like, "Okay, sweetie," and he even says, "He's like, it's probably a dog." You know what I mean? She has such an active imagination, and in all fairness, I'm more inclined to believe the father, considering his daughter's first instinct is, "I'm gonna start swinging the bat."
Touche.
But yeah, so it makes sense in certain light. But no, yeah, to another degree, it's just like, well, for a fact, giant monsters have been very relevant in these last 2 months. So
Giant monsters?
maybe
That's
it's worth
relevant to my interest.
maybe it's worth looking into.
So, yeah. Then it shifts to Bandora, and she's annoyed because Gryffindor and Bookback are sleeping in the way, and they're like next to each other. It's kind of cute. And so she's annoyed. She's like, y'all are always sleeping. And she's like, Leprechaun. And he's like, my concept art is already ready. And so she drops to his Patreon and gets a cool like statue. Because I mean, it was horrifying. I'm not gonna lie. This is one of the more horrifying.
I have always hated this one.
Yeah.
Always, it has always haunted my dreams. It has always been a nightmare for me.
Literally, all I wrote is it's fucking horrific eyes.
Yeah,
It's
because
a monster.
Dora
Argus,
Argus.
which is a mythological monster.
Yeah, like the name was sounding familiar, so I'm like, and plus, look, give credit where credit's due. They've made it a point to tie these monsters into like creatures, mythical creatures and
Okay,
stuff.
hold
The
on.
problem is sometimes they just
Go on.
only
Go on.
problem is just sometimes they just do the bare minimum.
Well, what we see before is them saying this is a mythical creature. Here's how it works within our mythos. Now these are actual mythological creatures that they're using in conjunction with the myths that they were involved in. Because same thing with the monster in the next episode. That is an actual myth. The way they defeated it is pretty similar. The only difference is they put it in this world where the 5 tribes, 2, 4, 5, yeah, the 5 tribes actually had to deal with it. So yeah, it's neat. The whole concept is he won't sleep, always one eye is open, and he's literally sent to Earth, and I quote, to harm as much children as possible, and as an afterthought, to help Toadpat suck blood.
I think that's how Bandora views Pat most times, as an afterthought.
Yeah,
But hey, at least she still looks out for him.
yeah. So it shifts back again. So Don and Michi, I believe that's her name,
Yeah.
are searching for the monsters, and then they're led away by a creepy floating eye.
She's led away.
Just, I swear that. Oh no, you're right.
He
You're
gets
right.
dragged in the next time.
You're
but
right, you're
for
right.
this first one, because you gotta remember, it's just, dude, I loved how overly dramatic it becomes. But so she, first of all, is Toadpat and Argus, Dora Argus, standing there, and Toadpat's like, it's her, get her. So he shoots out one of his eyeballs, which creeps the fuck out of me. It goes, gets her attention. She starts chasing it until it leads to the main eye.
Which is just an eye stalk.
Yeah, which, lovely. I think the most suspension of disbelief that they ask for us is to imagine a child actually being willing to go towards it.
Dude,
But
this child has a bat. She is fearless. She will go towards anything.
Yeah, but it's just gross. But yeah, she goes towards it, the eye opens, and freaking blasts her and sucks her into it. Like, she's just gone. It got sucked into the eye.
Into its eye.
And there
hole.
she's in this weird
Pocket dimension
world. It's all foggy. You know what I mean? It's all, the sky is purple. She's walking around. She's not sure what's going on. But then she just sees it. A creature feeding on a young woman. And when that creature looks up, it's her father. Her father's the vampire. Dun dun dun.
All right, to make this even more to allow y'all to understand just how bad this is in a good way, it's not just a vampire. It looks straight up like Bela Lugosi's vampire. Bela Lugosi's Dracula. Hair slicked back, blood on his fangs, a sharp suit with a cape, and when he walks towards her, his arms are outstretched so he can pull her in and suck
Like
her
straight
blood.
up at points he's flapping his arms to move the cape around.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, it is just imagine when you open up during holiday season when you open up the brochures and the costume literally just says vampire, and it's the most generic look you can imagine because
And
that's all he is. And but the best part is, so I mean, you're not sure really what this is leading to. It's kind of confusing at this point because it's like, why is she being shown this? But you just see her step. I guess she got released from the dimension because she just steps out of the bushes with such a dead, defeated look on her face, and she just falls to her knees in defeat from pure shock and horror.
yep. And that's when Topaz is like, I gotta eat her. But it's like Topaz takes too long or something. His luck is shit because then Boy and May find her first.
Well, in all fairness, she did fall in the middle of the road. But yeah, out of all the roads, oh hey, aren't we lucky? Zyurangers are riding on this one
Uh,
because yeah, that's exactly it. He hears their vehicle and he's like, oh shit, got a bell.
yeah, and then she tells him about it. Well, specifically Don. Uh, and Geki and Goshi go and look, and they're like, he doesn't look like a vampire, and he's doing a lot of nice things because he's a policeman. Uh, and they don't think he is one, so she's sad because she's not being believed, but she's also sad because she's like, my dad's a good man and he's a vampire.
Yeah,
And,
it's this weird conundrum for her because she's like, she's upset that they don't believe her, but if they believe her, then that just means her dad is an actual monster.
and then it's funny because she just wants him to be good, and in the background you hear a sad, slow version of the not Jetman,
The
of the Zyurangers
Dire
themes.
Ranger
Yeah,
theme.
and Don is like, I believe her tears, and I'm like, that is no basis for belief, my dude. That's not how facts work. But they agree to search for the truth and leave Don to take care of Michi. And that's when the eye appears again and zaps them both into the alternate dimension.
Yeah, because apparently it's just kind of like, okay, well, we're done trying to be sneaky about it. So yeah, no, just take the Power Ranger with them,
Yeah,
and they get sent in there, and she's once again getting the visions while Dawn is actively being attacked, right?
I think so. Something like that.
I just remember it ultimately leads to him like escaping by stabbing the eye.
No, because at first, I forget there was something not right about it. Because she ran off away from the vampire and he's fighting it. I think he strikes it and it falls down to the floor as eyes and then reforms. And that's when they shoot him out because they're like, you're going to be trouble here. Peace. But they also reveal their goal somehow, some way, because she's like, she won't be able to trust her family anymore. And she'll.
Well, that just comes because they shoot him out, and all the other Rangers come. So now they're face to face with them, and they're like, it's kind of like just plot dump.
Yeah, but the plot dump. I don't see how that's going to destroy children, but.
Well, dude, it's like that weird. It's like the weird food one where it's just like eating in an instant, where it's just like by destroying the family bond by them not being able to eat a meal together. Though, in all fairness, I think destroying the family bond was them starving to death, which is just as effective. But no, yeah. So it's just basically, yeah. They're like, if she can't believe in her father, who she wholeheartedly believes is a good man, it crushes her faith and everything. She's truly lost, and plus, Tutpack can have a snack.
Yeah, and then it goes back inside where she's being confronted by the vampire and she tosses out her little backpack purse thing. She's searching for something and she finds a cross. And when she confronts her father with it, all I could think of was, Indy, I love you. Because that's kind of what she did. She just kind of thrusts the cross at him, but he like slaps it away. Uh,
Your
and then she's attacked.
Christianity has no power here in Japan.
Kinda.
Wow.
Yeah. I just think it's neat.
Pretty much.
Uh,
Aesthetically, it's cool.
so the Rangers transforms, but I found this interesting. The Rangers transform, and it only focuses on Don. It shows his Triceratops, and he transforms, and it zooms out, and it's everybody else again.
Yeah, he's the center of the formation this time.
Yeah. And this was cool, too, because they do their pose, and their Ranger coins appear above their head. This is the first time we've got to actually see them, like, do the cheesy poses and stuff that we love. Almost like postcard style.
Yeah.
But, which it got me super pumped, you know?
Oh, yeah. But the problem right now is that Michi is just still kind of trapped in him in the eyeball's pocket dimension. So they're like, well, we got to get her out. But are we even supposed to go about this? Because, he's already kind of dangerous, but then you can only do so much damage until he falls apart and literally reforms.
Yeah, and what's even harder, because this was the real problem with Dora Argus. He has eyes everywhere. He's not getting attacked from any blind spots, so he's blocking and preventing them from actually hitting him most times. So while they're fighting, Don goes after Michi. Hold on, no. Because something more important happens first. As they're trying to fight him, and they can't actually hit him. They use Howling Cannon. It hits, but for the first time, does not destroy. That's big, This is the first monster that this has happened. And
hey, man, 1 in 13 is a bad track record. You know what I mean? I'm sure there's some pills they can take.
so
it happens every once in a while.
The eye falls apart.
It was cold that day.
He reforms. I think he sends them flying, but that's when Don runs off to find Michi real quick. And he does find her as Topat's about to eat her.
Yeah, because that's the ultimate kind of flaw in their tag team. While Argus can trap her in him and show her these hallucinations and kind of break her spirit, Toadpat can't enter that world either to just eat her in there. So Argus eventually has to release her just so Toadpat can actually do the deed. And, once she's out, now they can actually help her. It's such a weird, quirky pairing because you could see how it's supposed to work, and it probably could have been a very successful partnership if he wasn't so focused on one particular victim.
I was thinking, they went with this vampire motif, and maybe he just doesn't know how to be a vampire. But most vampires strike at night when their people are sleeping, so that way, you don't have to worry about half of this shit. Anyway, but he rescues her by shooting Topat with the Ranger gun, not a weapon, like his magic weapon, the fucking basic ass Ranger gun, which is enough to drive off that small fry. And that's when he realizes the main eye is the weakness. And I think at that moment, he takes a hit for her. I think Dora Argus tried to attack or shoot beams, and he took a hit. And in return, he used his lance to stab the main eye and defeated him for the small version.
Yeah, small version, because then, it's time to make the monster grow. And now they're giants, and they call the Guardian Beast.
Yeah, and they have a little bit of trouble beating him, but then Don is like, hey guys, this is his weakness, remember? And so they stab it in the eye and it loses. Well, they use the special attack on the big eye. And then you have this shittiest fake out ending. Everything's okay. they go back.
Taking
That-
her to her father.
Yeah. Then Michi sees him kneeling over some woman, holding her in his arms, and he looks up, and he has that same look of the vampire. And then he's like, "I'm just giving her CPR. It's okay." And
She
she's
got
like,
lightheaded,
"Yeah,
and they pick her up, and she's like, "Oh, thank you, Mr. Officer," and leaves. And I feel like this is an appropriate reaction because dude, the way she phrases it, because she's like, "Why you?" She starts chasing him with the bat, and like literally, like, "You have no idea what I went through today, and you pull that shit."
yeah." She chases it. She's like, "Do you know how worried I was?" I'm like, "Hey, maybe learn how to deal with your feelings appropriately." So yeah, and okay, we're at the hour mark, and normally this is where I would cut it because usually our stuff is just about an hour, but fuck it, we're gonna get this last episode out of the way, so y'all are in for a treat. At least I think. I hope y'all like our content.
Lord knows I don't.
Yeah.
Guys, we have reached the point where it is officially cabin fever.
Cabin fever.
But yeah, let's go ahead and just hop into this next one because I feel like this next one is actually gonna.
We got to round out that last episode. Any thoughts, feelings? Because on the one hand, it didn't do anything character-wise, really. It didn't do anything plot-wise. But goddamn, was it entertaining? Because of the absurdity of it.
For me, what made this so great came from 2 points. Tutpat constantly failing to eat, and then a very aggressive little girl who's determined to bat a monster, probably to death.
Oh yeah,
These 2 factors combined, and I had a blast.
definitely. And I feel like that sums it up well. It was fun to watch, and that's what these episodes are, fun. And while we're not getting true character development, we are seeing it happen slowly. This is the second episode we've seen Don, whether it's because he's like the handsome one, be like the friend to little girls, and
I'm not gonna say the handsome one. I just think he's the childish one, so the children
all I'm saying is they were
find it
both little
easier to
girls.
be with him.
While
No, hey, wait, no, the fat kid was
that was boy.
boy.
And then
No, but Don was the caterpillar one.
No, but he didn't. Yeah, he was a caterpillar one, but at the same time, all he did was make fun of the dude. He didn't really interact. He was just like, you like a girl? Fuck her.
You like girls? Bet you want to kiss them. But either way, I think what these 3 episodes are doing, and it's what the series has tried to do as a whole, which they've succeeded because they've made the children the primary focus. Like, because in Jetman, it was a war against humanity, and so they struck like, hey, here's an important building, here's an important artifact, here's an important person, here's an important institution, here's an important belief, here's an important realm of the afterlife. Like, they went and tacked multiple things that were important to humanity. But this Zyuranger, because of Bandora obsession, has always focused on the kids. So I feel like these 3 episodes have finally cut the Rangers up in it, where it's not just handling the monsters, but we are the friends of the children. So it's like Dawn believing her and is going to help her. Or just like in the last one, it's, oh, Jin is a friend of the children, and of course we're not going to destroy him. And as we see coming into this next one, again, it's about the Rangers finally not just saving humanity, but being the children's guardians in a lot of ways.
You're right. And which is weird, because even though we say that, this one actually was a Ranger-focused episode, and I feel like we did get a little bit of character growth here. Episode 13, Fire the Golden Arrow. So, seeing that...
you said it wrong. It's not Fire the Golden Arrow. It's Fire the Golden Arrow. The explanation point is important.
Okay, yeah, you're right. You're right. So,
Mr. English major.
so the Rangers are out.
Now I see where the run-on sentences come from.
The Rangers are out, and they're having a good time. They have ice cream, and the kids recognize them, I guess, because when they're not fucking around Bandora, I guess they're playing.
They were already playing with the kids from the get-go. They enter the scene.
No, because they entered the scene, and that's when all the kids ran up to May specifically and was like, "Hey, play with us." So they recognize them. They do, I guess they do play with them or whatever, because they single May out to play hide and seek, and so she's like, "Okay, here, hold my ice cream," which I'm like, "My dude, there's no way you're gonna find them all that fast before it melts." But okay, whatever. The rest go to sit down, and at that moment, a bunny mascot walks up and is like, "Here, have an apple." And she's like, "What's this for?" And he points to a sign that says "Women's Beauty and Health," and so she takes it. And my first thought is this going to be Snow White? Are they going to do something like that? Because that would be neat to see.
See, my first thought, which was even better, because
I'm
of
sorry,
what happened.
you have better thoughts than I do, I guess.
Well, keep your mind out the gutter. But no, actually, because my first thought was it was going to be one of those. It's a mascot costume, and the moment they do a turnaround, the monster is going to be a monster version of that mascot, as they've been known to do.
Yeah.
But no, it was even better for me because the mascot costume had nothing to do with the monster of the day, because you just see the bunny in the distance making sure she eats it, takes off the mask, takes off the helmet mask part, and it's a freaking Tut Pat in a bunny costume. It's just like, yes, she's eating it.
And the funny thing is, Boy wanted it. And I don't know why you would just go up to somebody who was just given something and be like, "Hey, I want that. You should give it to me." But Boy wants it. And May's like, "No, it's for women's health and beauty." Nom 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 nom. So at that moment, it like zooms out and there's this weird looking monster. You don't get a clear picture of it. You just see a bunch of like snakes. And it fires an arrow. Fire an arrow in the sky over the kids. And like these seeds start raining down on them.
The arrow just dissolves and falls on all the children.
Yeah. And suddenly two of the kids who are hiding are like, "Hey, you have a stick in your hair." I was like, "You too." And it's this little like stumps. And then suddenly they're growing apples on it and the kids are aging, and it's freaky because these kids are just wearing old makeup. So it's like a combination of, I want to say, like prosthetics and like makeup, and it just looks so odd. And then it reveals the monster, Dora-Ladon. He's a weird design, but not horrible. He's a giant snake for a main body, and then like coils of snakes for his hands and feet, and like a large mouth that doesn't quite close.
If it wasn't for all the snakes, I would have thought alligator.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like it felt like they just wanted the feeling of reptile. But then it's like, no, but it's snakes. But either way, because it's weird. They ultimately he does this, and does he go on the attack? No, they just immediately start investigating the children, right?
No, they do, because when he shows up, because I didn't take very good notes at this part. They find the kids who are freaking out because of the stumps on their heads that are growing bigger apples, and that's when he appears, and he's like, "Ha ha, fuck you," and they start fighting, and that's when things start happening to May. May aims her arrow at him, and her eyes go out of focus. She can't see.
But he's freaked out still though. Like he's like, whoa, hey, why are you still standing?
Yeah. So then you get the putties attacking. There's a pan shot of them fighting, but he even says, Dora-Ladon says, to focus on May. Now, Dora Ladon at this moment is fighting literally the entire group, with the exception of May, and doing well. So he's having the putties fight May for whatever reason. And I was like, he's holding them off really well for someone who isn't Goldar and doesn't even have a gimmick, right? At least I didn't think he had a gimmick until now. So May, she holds her own, she fights them off, and when she goes to shoot again, it goes out of focus. And Dora Ladon's like, I'm outie. But as he disappears, May faints. And
No,
so
actually,
no?
because pretty much she comes again, and because when he summoned the putties, he's like, y'all get rid of her, I'll deal with the Rangers.
Yeah, I mentioned that.
No, yeah, and so once she clears them out and she comes back, he's still like, why are you still up? But then he's slowly starting to pick up on all the subtleties of like, oh, she's having trouble focusing. So he full on says that, where he's like, okay, you know what? No, okay, it's working. Just try and shoot me, please. Just try it. And because the more she tries to actually inflict damage upon him, or just tries to shoot him in general, the worse her condition gets, and that's when she faints. Because he goads her into it, and once she collapses, he leaves. Or
Yeah.
I can't tell if he leaves or the Rangers just retreat with her.
No, he leaves. He fucks off. And it's revealed that Bandora cursed the fruit. At that moment, it's funny because Bookback and Toadpat are there, and Toadpat is like it worked. You're so great, Bandora. And Bookback basically calls him an ass kisser. I love it. He's like, you're such a sycophant. And it's revealed that the apples suck the youth from the children and turn them into apples that Bandora will then eat to gain eternal youth from eating them, because today she's worried about the bags on her eyes and shit. She shouldn't. Slay Queen Slay, she's real hot. That being said, witch eating children kind of fits, kind of is freaky.
It's what's weird is because when you're watching the scene, as she explains it about how it's going to happen, it shows the scene of like play by play. The more the apple grows, the more makeup gets caked onto these children, making them look more and more. I'm not gonna say even old, because at a certain point they look like just
Trolls.
just nothing but wrinkles. Like,
Yeah.
not even like old wrinkles, like just dried prunes. You know what I mean? They look like raisins. Like, there's being old, and then there's just being dehydrated. And so the apple's like literally the size of their head, and then the next step is they become an apple, and it's a huge apple. Like, think of those giant beach balls like that they do out at concerts and stuff. Like, because you see in her little montage, Bookback and Toadpat both having to carry it.
Yeah, so that way she could eat it.
Yeah.
And thus gain eternal youth.
So it's a pretty gnarly depiction.
Concept. Yeah, and it's not just like one or two kids. It's
No, she got a whole class worth at least.
It's a decent amount. Now, it's revealed because they're in their lair and they pull out their handy dandy notebook. That being said, it's the Rangers. I need to specify that. The Rangers pull out their handy dandy notebook, and Barza is like,
scroll to page 8.
Yeah. They tell him. He tells them the reason they targeted May was because the legendary arrow is the only thing that can stop Ladon, and that's what May has, because she's both the descendant of that tribe and she has the legendary weapon. And so it's interesting that they use the Greek mythology, because Ladon was the snake that guarded the apple tree, to apples of eternal youth kind of thing. Here they change it so that way it's her tribe had to defeat the monster originally.
Well, not even specifically her tribe. It was the great hero from her tribe. Yeah. One person in particular.
Yeah.
That basically was like the founder of the tribe in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the great hero is the one who manage to defeat the monster and restore peace.
And what I liked about this is once again, we see that the enemies are being super tactical. It's not just Rita Repulsa style, oh, I'm not feeling well, I don't want to see food, or you're having this charity drive, fuck you. It's, you know what's gonna be bad? If we have someone who can defeat this monster, so let's get rid of the one person who can defeat this monster. It's smart, it makes them dangerous, and, it's awesome. Now, May did manage to survive because Barza made her drink, like, I don't know, tea or something.
Literally, he was just like medical herbs or something or another.
Yeah, either.
Essential oils.
But she drinks it, and he tells him it's up to her now. She needs to fight in spirit to stay alive. And that's when we find May in a weird shrine-like area. She's all alone. There's Jizos on both sides, and arrows shoot at her randomly. She starts running down the path, and it's hilarious because as she does, explosions follow behind her. I'm like, that wasn't really necessary. And for a brief moment, I was like, I feel a two-parter. And my blood ran cold. But that's when we shift again. The Rangers are watching the kids age, and they're like, we can't wait for her. We have to do something.
But we got to give a special shout out to one of the mothers in that scene, because she went hard on the whole my child is actually dying. She was weeping to an incredible degree that you would not expect from like the level of acting for this show.
Yeah. So, they go to fight, and on May's side, the ground literally opens up and like swallows her. There's fire shooting up out of it, and she's like hanging on. And it shifts to Barza, and he prays to the guardian beast to help her. And at that moment, butterflies descend, and they kind of hover through the flames,
and fly her to safety.
Yeah, fly her to safety.
Not completely out of the cavern, but at least she's not dangling on the flames anymore.
Yeah. And so Dora Ladon is attacking more kids. Bandora is ready for it. The Rangers do their mid-air transformations that you see in the opening of Mighty Morphin, with the exception of May, of course. But ultimately, his gimmick is they can't win without her arrow. So he's winning, and it's refreshing to see a monster that's perfectly tailored to somebody else. You know what I mean? Because we haven't seen that in this series yet. And as they're getting their ass whooped, May is on a ledge. She's scared, and she can hear voices calling from the fire. She can hear the kids' voices. She can hear her teammates' voices. And I just want to point out, because it shifts between the battles that are being lost and her trying to decide what she needs to do to survive. And fucking Dora Ladon shoots snakes at them. Now, most of them are fake snakes, but at a certain point, you just see a live snake dangled over Goshi's face. And I'm like, someone went the extra mile.
It was funny because, like, from a distance, half the time they look like garden hoses.
Most of them were bad snakes.
Yeah, and so just to see the random real snake, it was just like, oh, okay. Yeah, no, it's real. Totally.
And the episode wraps up really quick. At that moment...
But I gotta say, I like how it happens, though.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's getting ready to get the final strike in, because he's going to shoot his arrow, and May split his arrow in twain.
All right. So you forgot the part where May faces her fears, hearing all these people who need her, and jumps into the fire willingly. At that moment, she arrives transformed with an arrow and splits his a twain. From there, it wraps up real quick. The theme song's playing. May fucks everyone up. She
Like
releases.
literally, I always love it when the ranger of the day, the ranger of the episode, gets to solo a group of the putties or whatever the goons are. When she just gets to go and solo run them, and because it's just like, yeah, this is you. This is
Yeah.
on you. You saved the day today.
Yeah. So she does that. You see growth because not that she was inherently cowardly, but she had to face her fear. She had to face something that held her back. So she releases the Rangers, destroys his apple, ending his invulnerability, and that's it. Pandora's pissed and is throwing shit at her henchmen. And it wraps up with them playing with the kids again. Fucking Geki, I think it was, right? Comes back and he's like, look, have an apple. And I'm like, sure, she doesn't have PTSD or anything.
You'd think the kids would be more traumatized from almost becoming apples.
Yeah. So it's funny because she goes ahead and eats the apples. Everybody's eating it. And it goes for this like cute little like
Women.
yeah, parental warning kind of shit. Moral of the day where it's like, girls watching right now, be strong like May. And then literally 2 seconds after that, Don picks up 2 apples, holds it to his chest, and he like nods at the kids pointing at May, and he's like, ooh, I May. I'm like, the fuck, Don. This is the strong representation we want. Badass women and then apple boobies. But more importantly, my thing is it like, are you comparing the size, the firmness? If her boobs feel like apples, they're probably a problem. Is it the shape? Are they lumpy? Maybe they're green. What the fuck, Don? What am I supposed to take from this information? And that's how the episode ends.
Yeah, it's just because she sees that, gets upset, starts chasing him. He's avoiding her while still doing it, and that's how it ends. And I'm just like, I feel like we had a strong point here that we kind of just decided, let's step away from it.
Yeah, right?
But either way, it finishes. And so that was our three episodes. All of them, again, going back to what I said before, felt like it was kind of like, we know the children were Pandora's focus, but now they finally made it a point to make it the Rangers' focus as well. Not just, oh, I have to come handle the monsters. It's, oh, no, we have to be there for the children. And I feel like it added a layer of depth, though this episode kind of rubs me the wrong way in certain aspects.
Well, why is that? Explain.
Because, like, her big revelation, which they say, she comes out saying this, is just like, I am the princess of the, whatever her tribe name was. But she's like, I'm the princess of the tribe, and I cannot, let them down. And so that's what pushes her to come into battle.
Mm-hmm.
And even during their fight, when Geki and the boys were fighting him, and they were losing, May was hearing them in that alt world, where it's just like, come on, guys, we have to fight. We're the chosen warriors. And here's the big issue here for me, is that they've made it a point to tie these Rangers into a history, into a history of their own tribes. We know Geki's a prince. We know May's a princess. We know they're chosen warriors of these tribes, but I honestly feel like we do not know enough about these tribes for it to actually matter. Like, as far as I'm concerned, as long as you know the Guardian Beast, that's really all you need to know about the past, because they're the end all of everything. But like, for her main motivation, now, albeit like they even say, overcome the curse for your love of your comrades and of the children. However, when she comes out and claims for, against the evil, that I am the princess of this tribe that we have no knowledge really about, it just feels weird. It feels like
So
we're missing something.
so here's where I viewed it from and why I enjoyed it much more and don't have the same issue you're having. Up to this point, May has been the disposable one. Whenever there's somebody who needs to be found, whenever there's something that needs to be achieved or grabbed, it's always her who is sent off, and then Boy. The two that always handle it are Geki and Goshi, and then, and only then, if Don is like the focus, Don will deal with it. But that's in the general order. Those two, the Pink and Yellow Ranger, are always sent off. And so, in a way, she's taken a back seat to a lot of these people. But at the end of the day, this is something only she can do. She can't be sent off. She can't be ignored. It has to be her. And as she's sitting here facing her fears, and she has to deal with the fact that, no, I am this princess. I have this lineage. I'm the only one who can do it. I cannot let my teammates down. And I feel like that is some small character growth. Now, it doesn't give her purpose. It doesn't give her meaning or anything like that, or even a goal. We don't necessarily have a better understanding of her, but we have seen her overcome part of herself. And that is growth. That is interesting to me. And so I'm willing to forgive it. But yeah, in general, you're right. We don't have a lot of context for these tribes, and maybe we're not going to. We're almost 2/5 of the way through. Is that going to be a problem? I don't know. We'll have to see.
It's just not that it inherently ruins, because it was still a great May episode. Because, like you said, she had been taking a back seat every single time. And so for her to finally be the focus, she got her badass solo moment in combat. Never has she been dead weight at all. She's never been a diminished character. She just hasn't been a utilized character. But again, there's this natural disconnect that I personally am having trouble getting around when you're referencing a tribe that, aside from a name and you telling, it's basically has been the greeting that we have no context for time and time again. Still
Yeah.
a great May episode. I still enjoy it. But I feel like we're eventually going to have to come to terms and handle it where, like you said, they either need to solidify that, no, we're not going to go any deeper into this, or finally just tell us where we're standing with this. Either way, I feel like we just need some kind of context with it.
And I think
Even if it's just our tribes are gone, I can live with that.
I think part of that, maybe we're not going to get the tribes themselves, but we're going to get more information on the Guardian Beasts because they are active players. And if the Guardian Beasts are tied to these tribes, or vice versa, the tribes are tied to these Guardian Beasts, inherently learning about one is going to help learn about the others. So I'm more leaning towards we're going to find out about the Zords in general, but that's just my prediction. So you want to talk about monsters?
Yeah, because I felt like we had some great ones and a low one.
Really? Okay, I kind of disagree. Let's start with Dora Jin.
It honestly feels weird to even call him Dora Jin, because that was one of the cool parts, is that he was hijacked into being Dora. He was just Jin.
I think I love the design. He was powerful. He was highly relevant to the episode. I would put him on the level of Dora Sphinx. I put him as an A.
I'm right there with you. Even going as far as saying like an A plus. He was honestly one that I was considering, where I'm like, was he well developed and like utilized and went hand in hand well enough to even be an S rank? I honestly thought that highly of him.
Would you put him higher than Dora Sphinx?
No, and that's the thing where I'm like, he's definitely right there with him. But like but just like Dora Sphinx, everything was just so well put together. Everything from his design to his powers to how he was using that episode fell in line exactly as it should. It wasn't some weird like, oh, it's a cockatrice, but he cuts portals and dimensions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't some modge podge of ideas. And I genuinely like him because he provided just more context. Because they've made it a point that there's just magic and stuff in this. Like, this is a world. Like, even the monkey tribe we got last time, they were their own thing. Everything's going on, and it's just like, due to Pandora or these different monsters, things are just woven together.
Yeah, they
And
interact with each other.
Yeah, and he just is just another magical being in a long line of magical beings, and I like that. He follows his rules, even though he does have preference, but he is just a part of the world.
Yeah.
And it fit really well. And going with his design and everything, I definitely put him up there as an A.
I wholeheartedly agree. So Argus.
Argus is, I hate the design because it makes me uncomfortable. But let's
In a
be
way,
honest, that's what they were going for, though.
Yeah,
so,
that's a good thing.
So I'm like, they definitely hit exactly what they need to. In every way, he was actually useful. And in fact, he was arguably one of the more dangerous people because he wasn't just taken out by the Howling Cannon.
Yeah, that gives him a lot of street cred. But my problem is also he's tied to a weaker episode. Like you can argue that the previous episode was entertaining and fun, but like it drew you in. Same thing with May's episode. This one was so cheesy. You loved it for the cheese. You loved it for what it was, but that doesn't necessarily make it a good episode. And it's highly relevant. He's highly relevant to the episode, but so was like Dora Goblin. You know what I mean?
He, in every sense of the way, unlike a monster there to be the issue,
mm-hmm.
He was a monster there to assist the issue.
Yeah.
The issue being Totpat needs to eat.
What is it? The issue was Grifferzor and Bookback always are fucking sleeping. And the side issue was Toppat needs to eat.
Yeah, but in the way that they structured the episode.
Yeah, you're right.
Aside from that literal one sentence explanation about why she wants a monster like this, the whole focus was on Totpat. And in fact, I would say more than anything, it was a Totpat episode.
Yeah.
And because of that, as useful as he was and as powerful as he was, because of just how he had to be in this structure, I honestly put him as maybe a C.
Yeah,
a B if you're feeling generous, but I feel like aside from, he can take the blow mainly because you're not hitting the right spot. The moment they deduce that, it's like Dora Goblin all over again. It's like, well, once you know the trick behind the magic, it's not really an issue anymore.
Yeah, I was teetering between C and D. But D is Dora Cersei. And Dora Cersei, the pig, was also tied up in a poor episode, but he wasn't relevant to the episode necessarily. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He didn't necessarily make it go. He didn't do anything spectacular like survive Howling Cannon. So, yeah, I think C works. The only other C we have is Dora Titan, and that's because he's the first giant monster we've seen. He's also perhaps he's functional, and that's all he needed to be, was functional.
And that's just, I feel like, what it came down to. It's just like, did he serve his purpose? Yeah. Was his purpose anything grand? No. And that's just where it falls in line. A bad monster? No. Good design? Well, it definitely got the job done.
I think his
But
design was really, really well done. Just ultimately, it served a shitty purpose.
yeah, and so I think I wouldn't put him down on a D level, but definitely I wouldn't put him on a B level.
So, did you? Was that the one you thought was the weaker?
No, actually.
Okay, let me hear this. Give me your spiel for why Dora Ladon doesn't work.
So for me, it's all tying in with its original root legend. Yeah, I mean the Greek legend. He was a creature that stole the golden apple and everything. So that all falls in line. But once again, my big gripe was he was a non-issue with a bad design. Because like literally, it's not like it takes anything special to beat him. Okay, no, so it technically does take something specifically special to beat him.
That is the whole point of the episode.
But to me, it's just one of those things where, like, what if she had given the apple to Boy? Then
You're
there wouldn't
right.
have been an episode. Because literally, it all hinged on her being away from everything for there to be an actual issue. Because the moment she's healthy, she beat up the putty and one-shotted him. And throw that in with the fact that I wasn't that big of a fan of his design, because his whole bottom half is just a series of snakes
Mm-hmm.
leading to, again, a huge serpent center. I'm never a fan of the mouth stomachs, of the mouth torso, and that one was exactly all that this was. And throw in the fact that all the snakes look cheap, and I feel like that's the biggest flaw of it. He's supposed to be like made up of serpents, but when you're supposed to be made up of living things, and it's obviously these plastic hoses, it definitely weakens what they're going for. And it doesn't help that when he opens his mouth, it looks more like an alligator than a serpent anyway.
All right.
But yeah, so that's just where I stand with it. Where, like, literally, if you could tweak one aspect of it and the monster is not actually an issue, then does he deserve to be rated highly? And throw in what I thought was a shoddy design, just didn't work for me.
It's amazing. Everything you said was just wrong.
I
Look.
see. It's gonna be one of those discussions.
Yeah. Look, I'll agree with you that his gimmick was very limiting. But he was an extremely effective monster. He was so strong. Again, his only worry was May, and so seeing someone who is not Gryffindor fight 4 Rangers at once and be perfectly okay is kind of amazing to me. And you're right, the plot was shoddy. But does that reflect on the monster itself? Shouldn't necessarily have to. Now, if the monster is directly tied to that episode, in which it's shoddy. But yeah, I don't think it was that big of a sin to knock it so low. Now, the design, you and I are going to disagree because you have no sense of style.
I do not want to hear that from you.
All I'm
My
saying
God, I do not. This is a whole nother podcast at this point. If we're gonna go into that, you can add another hour to the recording.
Look, all I am saying is the costume wasn't badly designed. The weirdest part is, yeah, you could say having his hands and legs be made up of multiple snakes is weird. But I don't think that's necessarily look bad. I like the design. I like the colors they chose. I liked his apple and his headdress kind of thing. I thought it wasn't a bad design, and it looked genuinely fearsome. Could it have looked better? Yeah, but that doesn't mean it was a terrible design. And so, you're right. Its biggest flaw is that as soon as May's back, it's gone. So where does that put it at? I think I could handle a B. Not a B. Sorry, no, not a B. A C. I think it could be on the level of Dora Titan and Argus because it accomplishes what it needs to. It looks good, and really that's all it needs to be, you know?
See, and I would put it on a D with Zora Xerxes because much like Xerxes, once the magical MacGuffin is found, the monster isn't actually a threat.
Did Cersei need a magical MacGuffin?
Because all he needed was
right.
a special herb, and then he's no longer an issue.
You're right. He ate their weapons. I mean, that's something.
Because that's the thing. You're saying it's an impressive feat to be able to fight against them all at once. But is it really impressive if look at those boss fights in video games where it's just like I have this character all mapped out. I can dodge his blows. He's actually not really an issue. The problem is he can only be killed with one specific weapon that I don't have. Does that make him a good boss? No, because he's not really an issue. I just literally don't have the tool that they want me to use for this problem.
Yeah, so sometimes you have to fight a dude with a handgun instead of a chainsaw. Or a
Sometimes
grenade
you have
launcher.
to face Nemesis with a knife instead of the grenade launcher.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. I would put him with Xerxes because it's the exact same problem with Xerxes. Once the MacGuffin is there.
Xerxes is the dude with the chains on his face who was trying to kill Leonidas.
Trying.
Okay, yes, you're right. He succeeded.
If
Good
that's
point.
trying, then I don't want to see him failing.
All right.
And that's where it stands with me because to me it's not impressive if the rules are set. If you're playing a game with a kid, if you're playing make a believe with a kid, and he just goes, "Oh yeah," and I'm not allowed to be hurt by this. When he gets to just throw out a rule that binds everyone else to it because he can.
You punch the kid and show him that's false.
Oh, don't try me. It's on the to-do list. And I'm still gonna fight you. I still think it's an ugly.
No. You know what? When you explain it like that, and you compare Dora Cersei and Dora Ladon, all right, I will give it a D. I still think you're wrong about the design, though. I think the design was tight. Not tight butthole, but just tight.
And you know what? I feel like that's a fair place to leave that.
All right. So we've had plenty of technical issues this episode. So please,
hopefully you'll notice very little of if we edit it right.
Yeah. But if we don't, please forgive us. And let's go to our quote. What's our quote for the episodes?
The quote from the episode is actually you said it earlier because I felt, especially in these type of shows, a lot of people get the idea that it's aimed at the young men. So I like the quote of girls watching this, try and be strong like May. Because, ladies, it's a rough time for y'all. It's a rough world. It's never been in a male-dominated society. I know it's been rough on y'all, so be strong. Y'all got this. Change is coming, and women terrify me, so touche.
And to update it to the 21st century, men watching this, be strong like May. And have
like
apple boobies.
And have some Granny Smiths.
You should never refer to chesticles as grannies, like ever, in any context.
I don't think we can end it on a better note than that. We have a Twitter at Chojin Chumps.
We're
Please
finally
follow.
go on.
No, just follow us there. We love the feedback. We love to hear from y'all.
We
We
are
love y'all.
also finally going to put these out, so y'all should finally be able to hear this. Look forward to it, even though by the time you're hearing this, you've already been listening to it. So, yeah.
Yay.
All right. Peace.
Bye.
探検してパパルーラ